Hey there guys, and welcome back to Alex Invest. Today the markets are a little bit mixed, but one stock that is doing very well today is Cielo Waste Solutions. Now this is one that I just ended up picking up today, and I was going to pick it up last Thursday, but I ended up not pulling the trigger until this morning and a little bit on Friday. But this one, essentially what they do is they convert garbage and waste, and they can go straight to a landfill for this, and they turn it into biodiesel fuel, right? And it is a very, very clean method of doing so. They don't create any CO2 or other emissions while doing this. So this is one that I see set for big growth moving forward. Now we're going to go through two things today, and that is their investor presentation, number one, and number two, we're going to go through a bit of their financial statement. But we're going to start off right here, just at the chart here for a minute, so we see where we've kind of been going. So this is Thursday, right? This is where I was going to originally pick it up. And of course, usually when I say I'll wait to pick up a stock and wait for a little bit of a dip, we see kind of a run, and then the opposite, obviously, when I decide to buy it, then we usually see it come down first, and then eventually it does well. But that's just classic classic stock market stuff there. So anyways, up 35% today, right? I picked some up right here this morning and right here on Friday, so good things coming here. But the main reasons why I like this one again is because they're in that clean energy sector and they're doing a lot here. So we're going to start off at the investor presentation here, and we're going to start off on this slide right here, so we can kind of see the advantages of Cielo here. And of course, being able to, they can use all 7 types of plastic, right, which can generally not be recycled here, and turn it into biodiesel. So again, super, super clean technology that they're working on here, right? And total cost here is what we're going to look at, right? And we have traditional biodiesel and Cielo's renewable biodiesel here. And average cost $1.4 per liter for traditional, and Cielo, we can see is much lower. And of course, a part of that is because they can just go straight to the landfill, right, and grab garbage from there and turn it into biodiesel, which is again free to do, right? So that's really cutting down their cost a lot. We can see this right here. This is the feedstock cost, right? And that's sort of the main decrease in cost that we see from traditional diesel and Cielo's diesel here. So really good stuff. So we took these two numbers here, right? We took the cost and the price and just divided them so we could kind of see the difference here. And what we see is, the traditional biodiesel, often, or with the numbers we took at least, we see that traditional biodiesel, actually costs more than what you can sell it for example, in Edmonton. But, moving to Cielo's here, again, we see the price actually higher. And not only that, but of course the cost being much lower. So essentially the cost is about half for Cielo's renewable biodiesel, and basically more than the price here for traditional, right? So we can already see how much better Cielo's renewable diesel here is. And the process, we're not going to go through the process here much. The general idea, again, is that they basically can take garbage and turn it into biodiesel fuel. So, and that's amazing for the environment. And the biggest part here, the biggest difference here, right, again, with some of these other ones, because there are a few other companies out here doing this. Blue Sphere is one doing it. And Blue Sphere, for example, they're good, but they can only do it with organic waste. But here, it's these plastics, right, that can be taken and converted into this fuel, and it's any type of garbage again. So that's much better than just using organic waste, which is good, but it's not as bad as some of these plastics, for example, that we see out here. So yeah, they do have a proprietary catalyst, which is important here, because without the catalyst, per some of the videos I've watched on this, none of this really process would work at all. So there's that. Again, we can see kind of here what they're planning on doing here by the end. Right now they only have one test plant, but we're going to get into that in a bit here. So again, they take garbage right from the dump to their facility. They turn that into fuel, and they can power whatever with that. And again, what we can see here, right, no methane, no CO2 produced there. And we can see sort of their plant here that they opened in 2019, and this is one of their first really production plants here, and they don't really have many revenues from this because they're still kind of starting off here and still doing some tests, etc. It's still more of a test plant, but they are actually planning on opening more plants this year, and so that's really going to be able to start getting them these revenues they need and really start to push them forward, right? So I think right now we're still in these early stages here, but eventually we're going to get somewhere. And here, this is what I was talking about quickly, guys. This is what I was talking about before, right? I buy, and what happens is, we come down every time I kind of buy. I think I actually bought right around that, 3.4 level, or 0.34 level, right? And of course, we're coming down now. So I bought for you guys, so you guys could get in at a better price here. So you're welcome for that. Anyways, let's keep going here. And I just want to say with that, at the end of the day, I don't really care too much if we see a bit of a pullback here. I do believe in these guys longer term, and I still am planning on buying more shares. So I actually I'm very okay with the price coming back down to even the 0.3 level or lower, because I would definitely buy more shares in this one. Anyways, let's get back to this here. So again, here we can just kind of see what their plan is here, right? And 2021 revenues, again, they're looking for those starting revenues here in Q1 2021, right? With this Aldersyde facility they've set up. And before this, that's why when we go through the financials, you guys are going to see we don't really have any revenues there, but we can kind of judge what some of their revenues are going to be and their cost of revenues, right? From again, this slide right here. So I think they are going to do really well moving into the future here because of some of that. But again, when we go through those financials, we're going to see we're not quite there yet. Kind of what I was talking about too, they're looking at these new facilities here, right? Engineering improvements on, this facility here, their Aldersyde facility and their test one, right? And then we are also going to get starting a new facility here in Dunmore. And again, they want to double the size of Aldersyde here and this is all in 2021 still, right? And here they're going for another new facility here in Q4. And again, then we come into 2022 and again, another new facility and commissioning of sort of this facility here, right? So we can kind of see where they're going, and I think they are going to get there because now they've kind of worked out all sort of the kinks and everything, and they're really just starting to now expand this kind of process here and expand their facilities and be able to start really generating these revenues and start making the world a cleaner place, right, guys? That's really a big one for them as well. All these plastics that are just going into the oceans and all this, they have a video on it, how that's really what their end goal is, to get rid of all these plastics, right? And again, this is kind of what, we're not going to go through this because it gets into the science here a bit, but this is kind of what they need to convert this waste into biodiesel, right? But this is a really good slide here, right? We can kind of see all of the sort of things they can use here, and it's pretty much everything in a landfill or in waste in general, right? And the demand for diesel in Canada here is important to look at, right? We have sort of this 17.4 billion liters produced in 2015 fossil fuel diesel, right? And essentially what Cielo is trying to do is basically make that not needed at all and have Cielo's biodiesel here take over, which is again cheaper to produce. Potentially, right now the price is higher than what you would pay for traditional, but again, they could decrease that cost and sort of take over the entire diesel production business here and have it all be theirs. Once again, they kind of have more production and supplies to sort of make up for all this demand of diesel, right? So that's good. And again, 19.7 billion liters per year by 2023 is what they're expecting here for global renewable diesel production. And most of this can be accounted for kind of by Cielo eventually, right? So that's pretty much most of what I wanted to go over here with you guys. Now, the next thing I wanted to go through with you guys is their financials here quickly, and we're just going to go over two things in their financials, and that's their balance sheet and their statement of comprehensive loss here, right? And we're going to start off with their balance sheet. And total current assets, again, 2.6 million in 2020, up from, or in October 31, 2020, right, up from 1.61 million. Again, they have quite a bit more cash, which is nice, but not a great balance sheet here. All in all, if we look at their total current assets, and then we look at some of their current liabilities or their short-term liabilities here, we can see, they do have quite a bit here. But again, as these facilities open, as they start generating these revenues, this really isn't worrying me much at all. And if they needed to, they could always, raise a little bit of capital here, and that would be okay with me. Their property, plant, and equipment here makes most of their non-current assets, and we can just kind of see how expensive these facilities are to build. So, yes, I am expecting a little bit of a rocky road here moving forward. And as they build these plants, they are going to be spending quite a bit of money, but once they get these going, we're going to see high revenues. So, balance sheet, again, not great. Long-term debt here, we're at that, pretty high again, but they need a lot of that, right, again, to produce these facilities. Yes, their balance sheet is not great at all, and you wouldn't expect a balance sheet really to be that good with a company that's worth so little. But let's just take a look at their, statement of comprehensive loss here, and you guys can kind of see what I mean, right? We see they have no revenue in 2020 for the 3 months ended October 31st, right? Or in 2019 here. And again, that's because they're still in sort of their testing facility phase here, right? And they haven't sort of gotten to that big production phase. They haven't gotten to the point where they're getting garbage right out of, the dump and bringing it over and just straight up making diesel out of this yet. And they've got quite a bit of expenses here. Again, I'm not going to go through all these specifically, but we can kind of see, advertising and promotion has gone down quite a lot, which is nice. And that kind of actually is important to see here, because it kind of shows that they do have quite a bit of demand now for their biodiesel. And once they are able to get this process going here, they will have some nice sales coming in my opinion here. And then their loss per share, basic and diluted, right? 0.006. So really not that bad at all here, actually, which I'm kind of surprised about. Better than kind of 2019's 3 months ended October 31st, I believe. Yeah, October 31st. And for the 6 months ended, again, obviously we have a bit of a higher negative EPS here, but again, lower than the year before. So good things happening there. I wouldn't be too surprised if, again, we see this number come up a bit, just because they will need to, either do some financing or otherwise, get some cash to be able to build some of these new plants and facilities, right? So again, do expect maybe a little bit of a rocky road moving forward for them. But I think, still now is a good time to get in here before they sort of have a lot of this production, right? This is, again, what I was talking about. They had 188 million shares outstanding in 2019, 3 months ended, right? And of course the number doesn't change here for that. But what we see, right, in 2020, number of shares, common shares outstanding, has gone up again because of some financing activities there. And again, it's expected, they're going to need, again, some capital here to start to get going. So good stuff there. We're not going to go over any more of that today, because we're already at sort of that 18-minute mark, and we will be talking about these guys again. if you're looking for a spot to get into them, you could wait a few days. I think we have seen kind of this big 31% run, and we could see a bit of a pullback in the coming days, especially, you know, in the market we're in. We've got a super volatile market right now, you know, still a decent amount of red today. So, you know, we could see some red tomorrow as well. That would not surprise me at all. So other than that, I hope you guys have a fantastic day. That's going to do it for me. Please like, subscribe, and share this video. You know, give me a comment. Let me know what you guys think about Cielo. And other than that, I'll see you guys tomorrow.